Hi everyone. I think we can get started. We are all here now. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone here in the UK that is joining us, taking part from King's Africa Week. But of course, welcome to everybody in Africa and all over the world that are interested in our project and in getting involved in this new adventure that we started with today. So my name is Dr. Roberta Comunian and I'm based at King's College London, and I will ask all the panelists of this session to introduce briefly themselves with their names in just a minute. But just to say, I'm very excited that we are starting this project, which builds on previous research, but hopefully gives us scope to do more interesting activities for developing creative economies in Africa. I'll pass the ball to Lauren and Brian, which are the two COI here in the UK, and then we'll introduce also the partners in Africa.
Hi everyone, great to see all of our partners here and also our panelists in the webinar. I'm Lauren England. I'm also based at King's College London and working with Brian, Roberta and all of our fantastic partners on this project.
Hi everyone, great to see some familiar names and faces today in the chat and on the screen. Yeah, my name's Dr. Brian Rax. I'm working on the project and I'm based at the University of Southampton. Who would like to go next on the panel?
We have the Lagos team.
My name is Professor Duro Oni and I'm of the University of Lagos, the Department of Creative Arts. Thank you everyone for joining us.
My name is Dr. Cornelius Onyekaba, Department of the Creative Arts, University of Lagos. Thank you and welcome.
Shall we move to South Africa?
Oh yes, thank you. Thank you, Roberta, and greetings to everyone and all who are attending. My name is Munyara Dzichatikobo. You can call me Chati. I'm the HOD of Cultural Policy and Management at the Wits School of Arts at the University of the Witwatersrand, and I'm standing for my colleague Avril Joffe, who I can see is attending behind the scenes, but she's not too well. But I'm glad she's here. Thank you, and we are pleased to be here.
Hi everybody, my name's Avril Joffe. Thank you, Chati, for standing in for me today. Lovely to see all the colleagues here. Looking very forward to the launch. Thanks.
And yeah, finally we can move to Kenya. Joanne? I hope Joanne can hear us. Maybe not. I introduce her for the moment, but I'm sure she will talk a little bit more about her work and research a little bit later in the launch event. So Joanne Mozomi is based at the University of Nairobi in Kenya and has worked with us in previous projects and is joining us now from Nairobi. So if we can get started with the launch event, the structure of the event is quite informal, but we would like to give you a short presentation just telling you a little bit what we're planning to do and how the project builds on our previous work. And then we would let each of the partners also have a short presentation to tell everyone what they are doing. And obviously this new project very much builds on the strength and the activities that are already going on in these three amazing African university and departments. So we very much want to share what's been happening up to now and how our activities will build on those already existing in these universities. And after that, we'll have plenty of room for questions and answers. And this is very much a way for us to get feedback from you on our ideas as they get started, but also for anybody to obviously discuss any potential contribution, collaboration, any other things that they think could be feasible to work on in the next 12 months, of any ideas of how we can work together more broadly with other partners across Africa. So Lauren, do you want to share the slides? Thank you. So as I said, this project is just started and is funded by the Arts and Humanities Research Council here in the UK. We've just created, launched also the website of the project. There's a little bit of information there, not much at the moment as we just got started, but the idea is that website will also become an important hub for knowledge exchange on these ideas. Lauren, if you want to move on. So as you see here is just a summary of who is involved in the panel. All the members of the panels are actually co-I in this project. So we very much wanted to adopt a flat collaborative structure. We very much like to do networking, knowledge sharing, and just collaborating with our African partners. And we are learning so much already about the amazing work they are doing. And we're hoping that this really gives us a platform to just grow the research agenda on Africa creative economies. So yes, as you can see, as I said, in this brief presentation, I will talk about the project that we are building on. This is an impact follow-on grant, so it means it's really aiming to deliver some impact on building on previous work and research we've done, and I will discuss that in the first part of the presentation. Lauren will then discuss aims and the knowledge hub that we will develop, and Brian will talk more in details of the activities that we got planned for the next 15 months. Then each of the partners will have some room to discuss their own research strengths, their own research partners and activities. So if we focus on our previous work, in the past 4 years, we've been involved in international AHRC-funded research network that was entitled Understanding and Supporting Creative Economies in Africa, Education Networks and Policy. So during this research network, we had the possibility just before COVID came into our life to actually conduct field work in 3 cities in Africa and to work with some of the people that are in this panel, so to start discussion, collaboration around creative economies in Africa. As we went and visited those 3 cities, we had very much we wanted to very much learn what was happening in Africa about the creative economies. And one of the things that emerged in our research is a core focus, a common focus across all our field works around the idea of creative intermediaries. And we'll talk about this a bit more in a minute. And then as we visited those sites, also specific ideas and specific research work around some of the dynamics of creative economies in those cities and regions. So in Lagos, we specifically developed some workshop and activities around the role of higher education. In Cape Town, we talked with a lot of creatives and talked specifically about mobilities and how creatives manage mobilities. And in Nairobi, we hosted a workshop specifically talking with fashion designers about their work and how they connect the local and the global through their work. When we started the project, we didn't know exactly what the output would have been, but actually we have developed some really amazing output in terms of the range of things that we've been able to cover has been really extensive. And we published 2 edited book collections, and these are available now, but I will talk about them in a minute, about this as their distinct focus. What has been praised and what has been really valuable in this edited collection is that we've worked alongside a range of African researchers with different levels of expertise, but with obviously important knowledge around the sector, but also with practitioners and other organizations on the field. And we really very much wanted to develop a knowledge base, so an understanding of how maybe some of the theories, some of the ideas around the creative economies, which is obviously obviously very much a global discourse, are applicable or not in Africa, what other dimensions are important about the African context, and what really needs to be supported or invested on. And as I said, the two books take two slightly different focus. On one, we focus on higher education and policy specifically, and on the other, we focus much more about the spaces and the working practices and the co-working idea in the creative economies in Africa. And so we developed all this knowledge which is out there, but part of the way we this grant builds on this new grant build on the old one is that we'll try to make the content of this book available much more broadly and much more freely to the knowledge hub that we are creating. The next important output that we put together was a policy report. The policy report was very much aiming to disseminate different kinds of ideas, so take some of those academic ideas to a broader audience, and is available to download online, and we can put the link to the download on the chat in a minute for you. As I said, the report was wanting really to engage a broader audience, but also wanted to investigate one of the aspects that maybe we haven't investigated so much within the books, and is this idea of creative intermediaries. Within the project, we look at the idea of creative intermediaries, developing farther from the core idea of, in academia, of cultural intermediaries, and really thinking about what is the role of intermediaries in bringing together support for creative industries and cultural work in Africa. And we can move to the next slide, Lauren. What we discover is that there is a range of these creative intermediaries. In the research, we find out that they are covering different sizes of organization, different nature of business, from freelancer to institutional organization. But all of these intermediaries are really working to enable the creative economy to happen and to take place. And the way they enable it is by offering services, by offering support, by offering knowledge, by offering finance. So again, a great range of activities that enable different social, cultural, economic, creative outputs to reach markets, but also being developed in general. While these creative intermediaries are very much connecting with the sector, they're also, we found out, very important for policy. And this is because they're really working at the in the core, connecting cultural, social, and economic development, and bridging some of the gaps that the policy sometimes cannot fulfill or cannot respond to. And within our research, and the next slide highlights this, we found that actually one key and very important intermediary working to support the local creative economies in Africa is higher education. And we find that obviously the importance of higher education is obviously linked to the fact that they are very much working with local development and the creative economy, but at the same time they got obviously a ear for policy, and they are obviously interacting with policymakers all the time, but also they have very much access and offer opportunities to youth to engage with the creative economy and with other broader discourses of development. So they're really key in the development of Africa creative economies. And this is very much as we sort of, our research has taken us, and this is where the follow-on grant really builds on. So I'll pass the ball to Lauren.
Thank you, Roberta. Yes, so I'm going to be talking about the aims, objectives, stakeholders for the project, and also introducing like sort of the first element of the project, which is the virtual knowledge hub. So the aims of the project is fundamentally to support the development of sustainable creative economies in Africa. And it also really aims to have, you know, a very positive and sustainable impact on the individuals, the communities, and the sectors that are involved, and doing that by reinforcing the capacity of higher education institutions to really interact and engage with key stakeholders and entrepreneurs in their local area, but also across the continent. There are kind of three core objectives for the project, and firstly is to support and strengthen connections between African higher education institutions and creative entrepreneurs, both nationally and across the continent, and doing that through really collaborative knowledge sharing and innovation activities. The second is to contribute to sustainable entrepreneurship by connecting and sharing career development stories and practical knowledge with creative entrepreneurs across Africa, and really using the Digital Hub as a platform to facilitate that. And in particular, really working alongside sector project partners and paying particular attention to gender representation, and also how different forms of cultural heritage can be represented. The third objective is really to strengthen the profile of research on creative economies and creative entrepreneurship as something that's really key for development as a development area for Africa, and doing that by scoping the opportunities for the establishment of a Centre of Excellence in Sustainable Creative Economies within the African Research Universities Alliance, ARUA. So those are the kind of the main objectives of the project. Our key stakeholders are sort of in respect to those really kind of emerging creative workers and entrepreneurs. So they're just kind of really starting out in their careers, including students, recent graduates, and those who are also working outside of the higher education sector, who haven't been through the higher education sector. Established creative entrepreneurs, those who can maybe kind of share their experiences with those sort of more sort of for emerging creative talent, but also to understand what their career trajectories have been. And finally, it's the higher education institutions and the academic leaders and policymakers whose research will be kind of championing, and also looking at opportunities to really embed that into policy and the work of higher education institutions. So the Knowledge Hub, which is our first point of call, and was kind of a real kind of point of reference, we hope, for the project in supporting creative entrepreneurship in Africa. What this hub really intends to do is both to act as a resource for sharing those kind of career stories and all of the information that we develop, and some great kind of creative content, and both kind of audio and visual content, but also to really raise the profile of African academic work and collaborations with people who are engaging with sustainable creative economies research and development in Africa. So both as a sort of a practical resource hub, but also as a source of kind of championing academic work taking place across the continent. And beyond our partners, the hub will be open to other African higher education institutions, researchers, and creative entrepreneurs who are interested in sharing their knowledge. So I'm now going to hand it over to Brian Haratz. Oh, sorry, no. So the hub has also got three kind of main parts to it. The first one is going to be creative careers, and here we'll be looking at sharing some interviews and blogs reflecting on specific professions within creative economies, and also sort of thinking about the value of creative economies. The second part of the hub is going to be creative entrepreneurship knowledge, and here we'll be focusing on presenting some interviews with creative entrepreneurs and intermediaries, and really kind of capturing their work and their career journeys. And finally, there will be a section called Creative Collaborative Imagination, which is where we're going to be sharing in ideas and materials that we hope will help creative entrepreneurs to consider the values of collaboration with other creatives and academia as well. So that's the sort of the introduction to the hub. I'm now going to hand over to Brian, who's going to talk through the other key parts of our project activities.
Okay, thanks so much, Lauren. Can we go to the next one, please, Lauren? Okay, so I'm just going to keep it fairly brief and try to just walk you through some of the key activities and things that we're going to be trying to do over the next 12 months. So as you see here, we have a range of different phases. And Roberta and Lauren mentioned this sort of first phase a little bit. So the first thing we want to do, of course, is to disseminate the existing knowledge that we have from the previous work we're doing on the Knowledge Hub. Roberta mentioned the 2 books that we were able to publish, and also the policy report. So one of the things that we would like to do in the next few months is to get short 5-minute videos from the chapter authors. We have 16 different chapter authors in the books, and kind of create this, put it on the hub, and try different formats and different lengths to make it a little bit more interesting and digestible. Also for the phase 2, this is about knowledge creation. This is collecting new information, and this is going to be led by the creative partnership coordinators who are here today. And this might involve things like new interviews with relevant entrepreneurs, intermediaries, and policymakers. And then finally, at the end of the project, which we think is a good idea, we want to sort of step back a little bit and think about evaluating the project, but also thinking to the future and the legacy. And as Roberta said at the beginning, what kind of ongoing opportunities or collaborations can we think of? So it might be a new center of excellence, as you see here in Sustainable Creative Economies with Arua. It might be other things. We also hope to create another final report for this part of the project, which we can then disseminate and share some of our findings. Next slide, please. Thank you. Just giving you a little bit more detail on some of the different elements that we will hope to be able to roll out. Excuse me, as you see here, we have something called Imagination Weeks. And these are going to be 3 virtual collaborative imagination weeks around different themes in different locations. So we aim to have about 20 or 30 creative entrepreneurs in the designated area of work. They come together and we'll have some different discussions. Throughout the week, we might have live collaboration sessions, workshops, networking events, independent time to work on different things. And as you see here, at each university, partner university, because the departments have a slightly different focus and area of expertise. So in the University of Nairobi, for example, we're going to be thinking about things like fashion, sustainability, and circular economies. Again, fashion related things, diasporas, international networks, cultural heritage and identity. At WITS, a little bit of a different focus. We're going to be thinking about film and digital media and ideas around storytelling. Film and digital media and youth engagement, and also very important and empowering women through film and digital media. And finally, at the University of Lagos, and you'll hear more about this a little bit in the partner presentations in a few minutes, thinking a little bit more about performing arts between national and local heritage, performing arts and community engagement, and also performing arts both online and in virtual spaces as well. Next slide, please, Lauren. Thank you. Also, something that we wanted to try, might be a little bit different, is this idea of a collaboration voucher scheme. And as you see here, basically what we're going to do is going to put out a call to participants during and at the collaborative sort of imagination weeks and those people involved. And we'd call on those people to submit proposals for small projects funded between 500 and 1,000 pounds to start a collaboration or further a collaboration between different attendees or academic researchers. And we aim to give out a total of 10 of these awards. And as you see at the bottom, the funding could be used to start an idea, pilot an idea, pay for some time to develop an idea, maybe hire a venue or some specific skills or equipment to take something forward. So we're open to all kinds of things, and I think we're all excited to see how this might play out in reality over the coming months. Next slide, please. Thank you. We also have this idea of collaboration mapping. So once these 10 projects are up and running, the CPCs in the different locations are basically tasked with checking in and following these collaborations over a six-month period to capture what's going on, what kind of knowledge and collaborations are happening, learning about the formation of the project, the structure of the project, and trying to gain some lessons and some things from the project. And then we are going to ultimately take these materials and turn them into 10 individual reports, which sort of trace the collaborative journey or trajectory of these different collaborations. So we can tell those stories with others, not only in writing in the form of a report, but also through some videos. We'll have a video for each project. And of course, we'll share all this information on the hub to not only share what we did, but also maybe this is something others will consider doing in other ways and other locations. So thank you. Next slide. So this is just a last few slides. We're going to hear from our partners from the 3 universities. And they've introduced themselves, so I won't say more about this. Next one, please, Lauren. Thank you. And these are our 2 current creative partnership coordinators who I believe are both here today. Maybe they can introduce themselves or say hi in the chat in the next few minutes. And then finally, Lauren, we have just some information on where to find social media accounts, our website, if you want to follow us, interact with us, and we hope to be putting out more content going forward in the future. So thanks for that, and I'll hand back to Lauren, I guess, who's throwing the master switch and handing over to our first partner presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. And yeah, also great to have our CPCs. I know I have seen a couple of them in the attendee list as well, so that's great. And also to say it's 10 projects at each university, so there'll be 30 in total. So yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we'll have 10. Yeah, our CPCs will each be following 10 projects in each location, and then we'll hopefully also be sharing that across the project.
I've moved on and started sharing the PowerPoint of our Lagos partners. So I'll pass the ball to Professor Oni.
Thank you very much, Roberta. We are very happy to be part of this African Hub for Sustainable Development. We thank Roberta, Brian, and Lauren. We've been part of this in the last 5 years or so. Our Department of Creative Arts is at the University of Lagos, and that's the university of first choice and the nation's pride. And our department is where stars are made. Can we do the next slide, please? Our department started first as the Center for Cultural Studies in 1975, and it became the Department of Creative Arts in 1997. We run undergraduate and postgraduate programs in music, theater arts, and visual arts. We've produced over 5,000 bachelor's degree holders and some 500 masters and some 60 PhDs since inception. Products of our department are considered the soul of creative economy in Lagos, Nigeria. Next slide, please. We have 3 units: the music unit, we've got the theater arts unit, and of course the visual arts unit. The concentration on this would be in theater arts, but our department has an integrated program where all the 3 units are involved in different productions, both from music, theater arts, and also visual arts. Next slide, please. We have several collaborations, and they run multiple major venues and stakeholders and foreign missions. We collaborate with the National Theatre in Lagos. We used to run a town and gown. We do the Musical Society of Nigeria, the Lagos State Government, USAID, the British Council, Terra Culture, Crown Troupe of Africa, Kinshasa Concepts, Institute of African and Diaspora Studies, and very many others that we are involved in. So now I'd like to invite my colleague, Dr. Cornelius Onyekaba, to conclude the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Well, the Lagos team, of course, is made up of very eminent Professor Duroni, myself, and Falakemi Ogungbe. Our job is cut out for us. Can we go to the next slide? Next slide. Thank you. Yes, our role in the AHTA project at the University of Lagos team is to handle the performing arts component of the project. Our job is definitely well cut out for the project concerning the astronomical growth of the Nigerian entertainment industry in the last few years. Of course, beyond dance, drama, and music, we are open to playwrights and every other creative, every other supporting creative in the area of performing arts as we go into this project. Next slide, please. Next slide. Of course, as Prof said earlier on, collaborators are many over the years, but for this particular project, we are looking at working with Crown Troupe, Kinshasa Concept, the footprint of David Theatre Company in Bariga, Lagos, and of course, at the level of venue, we're also looking at exploring some kind of partnership with Terra Culture, then of course the Just Poetry Theatre, and of course we have a plan to carry other groups in the 6 geographical zones of Nigeria along in this work. And to achieve that, we're going to be working with the SONTA, that is the Society of Nigerian Theatre Artists, and then the NANTA. Of course, we also plan to work with some individuals that have distinguished themselves over the years, like the University Group and Tosi, Tume and Company, and the rest of them. Next slide, please. Well, basically, this is University of Lagos, where people call us a pro for show, and we have so much to offer to this, and we're inviting everyone to please come around and work with us as we achieve our core objective of exploring the creative economy, how it's influencing new ideas in the culture of performing arts in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cornelius. Thank you, Professor Oni, as well. So I'll stop sharing and pass the ball to our South Africa partner, Chatti.
Thank you, Roberta. Once again, greetings to everyone present here, and thank you, Roberta and team, for putting together this important event. As newcomers on this project, Cultural Policy and Management in the Wits School of Arts is very excited to be part of this very important initiative, which is going to accentuate our role as intermediaries within the cultural and creative industries in South Africa and other neighboring countries in the region. And we are excited and believe that this project will also extend our networks through the new partnerships, which we hope to develop through our local partnerships and also everyone involved in the project. Just to share with you who we are as a department, Cultural Policy and Management is an interdisciplinary program located within the Wits School of Arts. We are very excited to say we are a confluence of 9 departments within the Wits School of Arts, which include film and television, digital arts, theater and performance studies, fine arts. And our offerings are around cultural policy, arts management, urban cultural governance, cultural economy, cultural entrepreneurship, audience development, arts marketing, community arts, intercultural relations, and cultural diplomacy. And we achieve this through mainly postgraduate degrees, which we offer at honors level, master's level. At master's, we have 2 streams. One is a master's by coursework and research, and another one, master's by dissertation. We also offer PhDs in cultural policy and management. But we have an important 4 important feeder courses or electives, which we offer at undergraduate level, where we draw students from the 9 departments, which I mentioned earlier on. Our curriculum is very much constantly an interplay between theory and practice, and the city of Johannesburg provides a rich playground for our students and our team of researchers in the department. It provides us with experiential learning, and we achieve this through traineeship programs, through excursions, which allow us to be in constant contact with various players within the city of Johannesburg. Sometimes we find ourselves going beyond the city of Johannesburg. We are very excited to be a department which produces a new generation of researchers, cultural managers, policy makers who contribute to the sector through the various networks which we have created locally. So our traineeship programs, for instance, and excursions have resulted in placement, permanent placement of our graduates within various institutions. And that connection with our alumni allows us to constantly generate new projects and new knowledge within the creative economies. Beyond our borders, CPM is very active on the international scene through our role, our direct involvement with UNESCO. We are very proud to say one of our own, Avril Joffe, is one of the experts, UNESCO experts in South Africa, and is actively involved in working with the National Department of Arts and Culture to advance UNESCO endeavors on the South African South African creative industries and creative economies. We are part of the International Cultural Relations Research Alliance, International Federation of Arts Councils and Culture Agencies, the European Network on Cultural Management and Policy, and many other international networks, which allows us and our students not only to engage with practice beyond South Africa, but also learn from other players. I mentioned earlier on how we run our traineeship program in local arts and culture spaces, and we achieve this through our 4 undergraduate elective programs. CPM is known for producing influential players who are engaged in various positions and various roles within the broader creative ecosystem in South Africa and the region. Recently, we were just talking about the current cohort of new students whom we are very excited because they are coming from different parts of the SADC region. And that allows us to have our tentacles in the region. In terms of this, collaboration, this intervention, our contact or our partnership with the film and digital media space is going to be through 2 important partners, namely the South African Screen Federation and the Tshimologong Precinct. I'll just cite a comment which came from SASFED when we engaged them, when we introduced them to them this idea of this initiative, and their response to our invitation was that this project, aiming to support and development of knowledge for the benefit of creative entrepreneurship, fits very well with the research agenda of the audio, visual, and interactive media industry. They went on to say, we believe that along with the other project partners and academics involved, the research will be extremely important to raise profile of creative economies among policymakers and academics across Africa. We support the research project's objectives and goal of establishing a center of excellence in sustainable creative economies within the African Research University Alliance. We look forward to assisting with the project activities and collaborating on this very important and worthwhile research. So this.
Thank you, Chatti. Do you mind if we pass the word to Ogake? Otherwise, we will run out of time for questions. Sorry. Thank you so much. That sounds amazing. Ogake, are you?
Thank you.
Thanks again.
All right. Okay. Sorry. I was going on and on.
No, it's just so interesting what you're doing. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I will stop sharing. Sorry, yes.
Hi. Allow me to share my screen also. I hope it's visible to everyone. I'm using a laptop which I'm not conversant with some.
Yes, we can see it, Ogake. Thank you.
Okay, it's nice to be here with everyone. I'm also really excited to be part of this project. We are also veterans. We've been on this project with Roberta for a couple of years now, since they came to Nairobi. Yes, it's been quite a journey, and it's exciting to see a new face to this project. So my name is Ogake Mosomi, and I lecture at the University of Nairobi, Department of Arts and Design. And I will be the liaison on the Nairobi side, and I'll be working with Waithera, who I believe is also on the chat. So just to go quickly on to about Department of Arts and Design. Up until recently, we were the School of the Arts and Design, and then there's been a few changes at the university, and now we are back to being a department. But basically the school, Arts and Design, was established in January 2006, and we offer two main degrees. So at the moment we have Interior Design, which is one of our biggest courses, and then we have a BA in Design, which has 4 different specializations. So fashion, graphics, design, and illustration. And I am the thematic head for fashion. And basically our structure is we offer a 4-year degree course, which is divided into a foundation. And then now after that, the students on the BA arts program will then choose a specialization in their 3rd and 4th year. But then the interior designers will still do the foundation, then continue to still study interior design. At the moment, we are a rather small school, maybe a lot smaller than the others. We fall under the faculty of the built environment, and I can't remember what the other one is. It's all new, but within our school we have a strong research base, and some of the topics that we have our colleagues researching is within design thinking. Okay, what you realize about our school is that we are designers, but then we do a lot of transdisciplinary research. So you'll find some of us are working within design thinking for healthcare, then inclusive design, working with people with disabilities and creating designs which are inclusive for them. Of course, sustainable design is a big one all over right now. Local production and manufacture, which kind of fits sustainable design, and then gender, training for industry, and then co-design within the tourism industry. So it's quite wide in terms of what research is being covered. These are some of our collaborators, and some of them are within industries, to show you that we're not only working with academic institutions, we're not only into research, so we're already working within the creative economy space. And how that is happening is we make sure that our students are participating in live projects and competitions, and we tend to do pretty well at that. So especially, I'm very proud of my fashion and also our product students who get to involve themselves they've done a couple of competitions where we have done better than a lot of the other universities, despite the fact that we are a department within a larger university. And then we also send our students out on internships, of course, and we have good linkages with the industry, and we ensure that our students get an opportunity to learn outside of just the classroom. We do a lot of guest lectures with experts to get the students to get a feel of what industry is about, industry visits, some of which are we even do like workshops on site where students will go and learn specific skills within the industry for a period of time. And some workshops like what we did, the creative intermediaries with Roberta and Brian and Lauren. So a lot of this is open to the public, and we try to engage as much as possible. And then of course we hold conference and webinars which we host with experts. And these are just like images of some of the stuff that we're doing at the moment. So top left is one of our students who won a competition for Butter Shoe Company. I think that's an international brand. And they had an apprentice program which different universities participated in, and Cyprian, one of our students, was the best, like he won the competition, and this shoe is actually in production. And then we have just different images of things we're doing. Right at the bottom is, bottom left, we have students who have, we visit a company that does sustainable fashion design. So they produce organic cotton and working with the local communities to grow cotton, and our students there so that they can learn from the best about what sustainable design is, how to produce fabric, etc. So in terms of this project and what we see as opportunities that could arise and how we tap in, this would be an opportunity for us, of course, to build our profile as a meeting point for academia and the creative industry or the creative economies. So it's no longer like we're trying to build that bridge and see that people feel like it's not the academics on one side and the creative industry on the other, but how can we work together to come up with all these amazing ideas and support each other. We also, of course, through the Knowledge Hub, we'll be making knowledge accessible to creatives who wouldn't normally mix within the academic circles. And some of the partners that we'd like to work with on that, Meta, HEVA, the East Africa Arts, which is a British council, because they already have access to a lot of these entrepreneurs who are looking to learn. So for us, we can come in from the academic angle and work with these partners to sort of add some value. And it will also give an opportunity for people to network and lead to interesting collaborations. I think that has already been talked about by Lauren. And then also using our reputation as a leading center of knowledge, University of Nairobi is the best for us to create interest about that intersection between academia and the creative economies. And it will help us also to contribute and to add to the policy discussions, lobbying government for recognition for the creative economy. I don't know if it's the same for other people out there, but the creative economy here is still growing, and we're not yet as recognized within the policy circles. And then also it will be an opportunity for us to collate and disseminate information through our partners, Kenya Fashion Council. I hope Akinyi is here, one of our partners. And because there's already like a network of fashion designers and fashion entrepreneurs, many who have not been formally trained or who have not trained as fashion designers, this will be an opportunity for them to just get into that link and, build opportunities from there. And then lastly, this will be an opportunity, of course, to do some capacity building and then to provide further opportunities for research within the area of creative economies. And that's just a picture of one of the works of our students. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Gake. That's amazing. Thanks, everyone. Thank you all our partners in Africa for this amazing introduction. And just it's amazing how much you're already doing even before the project is starting. And I really hope that the project can just help you build even more capacity and opportunity to experiment on collaborations and research a little bit about their impact and work. I'm very happy to take any questions if there is any from our attendees from the audience. You can use the question and answer area of Zoom if you have. The question can be obviously to a specific panelist, a specific partner, or if you have any other question in general on the project or on the project might, engage more people or connect with your work more specifically. I know we have a lot of people from other Africa, and I wonder if obviously there are people from maybe countries that we're not, we're not working with, because one of our other agenda is obviously to make sure that other universities in Africa can tap into this knowledge, and the Knowledge Hub is obviously very much open to anybody in that respect, and we're really hoping that this network will grow from the 3 universities we're collaborating with to become even wider as the project develops. Got some really nice comments in the chat. Thank you, everyone. I don't know if there isn't any. Oh, sorry.
There's one question in the Q&A, which is what have been the challenges in developing this project and working with different partners? Which is that's a tough one to call us out on at the launch. That's not a very fair question. But no, I think so far we've been, in terms of partnership building, we've been very grateful to the time and energy that Agake and partners at the University of Nairobi and Professor Oni and Cornelius, others at University of Lagos, and see Avril and Chatti at WITS, for all the time that they've put into us kind of working digitally, working remotely, I think is one of the big challenges. Obviously, Rebecca said that we were very fortunate to be able to visit two of our locations through a previous project, but we will be relying on digital technology and sort of email communication and digital platforms to make this project work, and very much relying on the skills and knowledge and work of people on the ground and our wonderful CPCs. So I think that's going to throw out some logistical challenges, but I think it's also a great opportunity to explore how international collaborations can be developed and work in the current kind of environment where travel is a little bit complicated.
We have another question from Jen about defining sustainability, environmental or in other ways as well. Well, I think overall, probably within our overall project, we are talking about sustainability in a broader sense. So in terms of the agendas of different creative industries, workers and individuals to obviously make a sustainable livelihood, start sustainable projects. So projects that probably won't, collapse if the funding won't disappear because of, challenges like COVID or other, sort of issues. So I think sustainability is more in the broader sense. However, I have to say within specific research hubs, there will be connection also with sustainability, for instance, in the environmental sense. So for example, with Fashion Hub, we were really talking about their potential of discussing sustainability in connection with, fashion. So how can fashion be more sustainable for the environment? How can it have less impact? How can we maybe think about circular economies in relation to fashion? So there is going to be also an element of that environmental agenda as well, I think, in some of the discussion, and probably some of the, projects we will fund through the hubs, they might have that environmental agenda as well.
There's a few more questions coming in. Two are sort of related. One from Erica and one from Lynette, and it's basically about ongoing collaboration. One suggestion I might make is just in the context of time, is you have the contact information. So if anybody, after listening to this, as you said, Lynette, there's a relevant project going on, yours related to ecological restoration, but there might be some overlaps. Please just send us an email or contact us and just say, I was at the event and, I'm doing this, or I'm a part of this project or this organization, because it might be a little bit difficult to get all of this information, and we don't want to lose out on anything or think that we didn't respond. So that's just a general comment. To Erica in particular, we will be running a fixed number of events, as I mentioned earlier, and workshops, and we will put that information out through our different channels. So anybody here, is welcome to attend anything relevant. We may do, as things develop, we may do some extra events or something more targeted, something might come up. So it's sort of stay tuned, or people from the network or anybody might propose something. We might come up with a brilliant idea for a new event or a new thematic approach. So we're open to that within, I think, the constraints. Back to Lauren's point of, I think a challenge is there's never enough time. There's so much, rich opportunity to do interesting things, to collaborate, to talk to people, to hopefully travel, but it's a limited amount of time and energy that we all have, as we know. So it's just balancing that type of thing. There was another question in between. Roberta, I'm not sure if you want to say something about that, or we can come back to that.
Teresa questions. This is about creative economies in Africa. It's a vast topic. How do we give it succinct focus so that there is true meaningful impact for the communities involved? Yes, we are very much aware about this. Obviously, the project is, the agenda is for this project to obviously potentially have an impact overall in Africa. Here, obviously, we're working with 3 countries, not all of Africa yet, and we're working specifically with 3 universities. We're working in 3 small hubs in that respect. What we really would like to do is to create that impact and a model to work together, and a model for collaboration between university and creatives that can be replicated potentially all over Africa. So if we try and make sustainable and make viable the model of collaboration and show what it can do and what the learning is out of that at a very small scale, then hopefully there's opportunity for others to copy the model, to adapt it, to use it elsewhere, and for other funding or funders maybe to think that other projects of this kind could be viable to fund. So that's the idea. Obviously, it's a small project and it's got a small budget overall, but hopefully we can plant some seeds and experiment a little bit and see what works.
I think we have time for one more. I also wanted this question from Stella. It's asking how can performing artists partake in economy development, and I think, well, we can speak to that, but I also wondered if Professor Oni or Cornelia Seventy reflects, as leading the performing arts area, if you've had ideas of how performing artists can contribute to economy development in Nigeria or across the continent. Sorry, Professor Oni, you're on mute.
Yes, thank you. We at the University of Lagos, we've always believed in the town and gown concept, where we have engaged the academia and the industry in collaborative ventures, which is why we do some of our work at the National Theatre and some at the communities very close to the University of Lagos, Kinshasa concept, Crown Troupe of Africa, and the Bariga Theatre, which is for underprivileged children who go to school and then get involved in creative development. And I think we are doing quite well on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Oni. I think, is that all the questions we've?
Yeah, I think it is. I have put on the chat our project email address, and obviously you have the website and the other social media. So yeah, if there is anything else that you think is worth for us to consider, keep in touch about, or just anything that would be useful to share with the project, please do email us. And obviously as well, keep talking about the project, directing people in our way if you feel there is something useful that can happen through that collaboration. So this is very much the opening up of a conversation. So we really hope that everybody can be engaged in different ways in this journey. Unless Lauren and Brian have got anything else to add, or our African partners, it's just for me to really thank everybody for presenting, but also obviously attending and commenting and inquiring about the project. It's a great opportunity to share these initial ideas and plans with you.
Just to add that sort of watch this space, as Brian and Roberta have mentioned, do keep an eye on our social medias and email us if you have questions. The website will be the point of kind of reference as the hub, and we hope soon to be sharing with you sort of a launch video for the project as well, that will kind of give an overview of basically what this presentation and this event today has been. So do keep an eye out for that.
Thank you again, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to our African partners specifically.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Pleasure. All right.
Bye, everyone.